In Scotland, there is a long tradition of telling ghost stories around Christmas, shaped by the long, dark winter evenings and the sense of the year turning. Families and friends would gather indoors, often by the fire, and stories would be shared as part entertainment, part warning, and part communal comfort against the cold and the storm outside. A quiet knock at an impossible hour, footsteps on an empty stair, a familiar voice where no one should be, or an old house that seems to retain a memory of those who once lived there. The contrast makes the uncanny feel sharper and the stories more memorable. An acknowledgement that midwinter is not only a time of celebration, but also a time of reflection, when the boundaries between the ordinary and the unsettling can feel uncomfortably close. This is the story of 284 Green Street between 1977 and 1979, the Enfield Poltergeist. I was on nights when the call came in. A family in Enfield, council ordinary street, saying their house had turned on them. You know the score. Grab the notebook, grab the photographer, and you're already writing the first line in your head. Local family claims they're haunted. A wee chuckle, a quick snap, back to the office. Only when we arrived, it didn't feel funny. From the outside, it was totally normal. No gothic drama, no graveyard myth, just a lived-in home with a worn step and curtains drawn. Inside, though, the air felt squeezed tight. The mum looked done in, not theatrical, just exhausted. The kids were jumpy, listening to the house like it was a person in the room. They said it began with knocking, not pipes knocking, not wind in the loft knocking, but sharp bangs that seemed to move around the place. Worse, they claimed it answered back. Ask a question, get a knock in reply. They'd already called the police, and one officer later said she heard the knocks too, and watched a chair slide across the floor on its own. So we stand there, notebook out, camera ready, and nothing happens. The telly murmurs in the corner, the house behaves, long enough for you to think it's a waste. Then the mood shifts. Everyone notices at once. Bodies go still, eyes flick to the same bit of space. The bang comes hard and clean, then another, from somewhere else. Not rhythmic, not random. It feels deliberate, like someone testing the room. We follow it upstairs into a bedroom. Normal clutter, school bags, toys, posters, the kind of everyday scene that makes the strange bits worse. There's a horrible pause, that waiting quiet. And then small things start moving. Bits of Lego whip across the room with proper pace. One catches my photographer in the face. He swears, clutching his eye, and the camera dips because instinct takes over. And here's the part that stopped the smugness. Nobody laughed. No wink, no, got you. The mum didn't look pleased. The kids didn't look proud. They looked frightened and oddly relieved that someone else had seen something. They weren't selling a story. They were trying to cope with a house that wouldn't let them relax. Over the following nights, the reports got wilder. Thuds upstairs when everyone was downstairs. Furniture shifting, sudden eruptions after long, quiet spells. Later, there was the detail people never forget. One of the girls speaking in a rough, older man's voice, hoarse and grinding, nothing like her wee face. People recorded it. Journalists returned. Investigators sat for hours waiting for the next flare-up because the house didn't perform on request. It decided when it fancied a show. I'm not asking you to believe in ghosts. I'm telling you what it felt like to be there. A normal council home and a room full of adults watching the same patch of floor, braced for the next bang. And when it came, from nowhere, it landed like the house was saying, "Right then, you wanted proof? Here you go." Linked to the most chilling strand of the Enfield account is the figure of an elderly former resident. During the later phase of the disturbances, a gruff male voice was reported to emerge from Janet, and it identified itself as Wilkins, describing itself as a 72-year-old man who had previously lived in the house. When questioned, the voice gave a specific, unsettling backstory: that he had gone blind, suffered a hemorrhage, and had fallen asleep and died in a chair in the downstairs room. Investigators noted that a man named Wilkins had indeed been a previous occupant who died in the house, and later accounts record that his son confirmed the broad circumstances.